what it is. Every revolution or every political movement or any kind of change, and having someone, okay, CIA, which is fucking for you to call me CIA when you know I'm not.
I swear.
Everything was politicized. It was, oh, this is when we became the left versus the right. But both sides are trash. In COVID,
his own thing. So it seems to be that money's the issue, that like we're using money and that's how politics is being pushed. Because now we've seen what someone does when they use their own money and it doesn't seem to be a solution. So I feel like we take money out of politics, we'll have a much better political system.
Politician, you think they're gonna come out and tell me the truth? They was lying to my mama. They ain't gonna never tell us.
So everybody, we look at certain things just because, oh, this happens in the hood or we see this every day. All the way up. These people were speaking truth. King, we could talk X, we could talk it all. They were speaking truth.
What's going on in anyone's mind, but let's take it as a given that Gray's argument is true, that the argument to not have ID is that it would be discriminatory versus certain socioeconomic brackets or something. It's like
the world's greatest trial run of what people will do and what people won't do. And we are the only country on the planet that really fought against the government. A lot of it,
because you focus on 80-20 issues. I'm looking at the Epstein issue as we have 80% of the information we need to prosecute these people that actually did anything, but you're focusing on the 20% trying to take down Donald Trump, which you're never going to get. So I'm going to keep sitting here with a smug-ass face on every single day.
I'll explain. Good question. I'll give you the answer. The Republican Party constantly talks about transgenders and transgender surgery to minors.
I'm mostly on the left ideologically, but I don't associate with the Democrats because they're not ideologically on the left. The Democrats are clowns, and they're also losers.
About to be any engaging conversation. It's not about to be any discourse about different political ideologies, what works and what doesn't. If that is the outcome, right? For example, I'm not going to go and just put myself in the middle of a KKK rally.
Verify me. I'm not a fucking Fed. They always do this. I'll say this, right? But they did the same thing to Nick. We've seen the video. They'll call people who are genuine and authentic Feds because
the interesting thing to me is that the ones that claim that they believe the Constitution are now trampling the Constitution. The ones that said they believed in the First Amendment, the freedom of speech, right, are now going against the freedom of speech. The ones that...
So to see and hear this strong, compelling speech with emotion, I think that's extremely important for young men to see from a leadership perspective.
Y'all have no plan. They'll never talk about nothing positive about the Democrat Party. Everything is just anti-Trump. They're not willing to have a conversation. They call us fascists. We willing to have a conversation. Charlie Kirk's willing to have a conversation.
House just dropped thousands more documents from the Epstein estate as part of their congressional probe. And let me tell you, it is spicy. Let me just give you the highlights real quick. First off, Epstein alleged that Hillary Clinton had an affair with former White House counsel Vince Foster. Now, Foster committed suicide back in 1993. Also, interestingly, Epstein, in an email to the Duke, claimed that Clinton had never been to his island. He did send an email to Peter Thiel in 2014 saying, quote, "That was fun. See you in 3 weeks." I wonder what that was all about. And then there were a bunch of emails and documents that DropSite News analyzed that basically proved that Epstein was indeed working on behalf of Israel as a possible intelligence asset. Then there are the Trump-Epstein bombshells. This is Epstein to Kathy Remler, who is Obama's chief counsel, and he says, quote, "You see, I know how dirty Donald is." This one to Thomas Landon of the New York Times, quote, "Would you like a photo of Donald and the girls in bikinis in my kitchen?" This is an unnamed redacted individual writing to Jeffrey Epstein, quote, "I'm at the door, but I will wait for my time. I don't want to come in early to find Trump in your house." This one is from another Times reporter named Michael Wolff to Jeffrey Epstein, where he basically tries to convince Epstein to turn on Trump. He says, quote, "I think you should let him hang himself." Interesting word choice there. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the house, then that gives you valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you, or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him generating debt. Here is another attempt, quote, "There is an opportunity to come forward this week and talk about Trump in such a way that could garner you great sympathy and help him finish him. Interested?" Honestly, this is kind of a disturbing insight to how the media works. They're basically willing to let the pedo go so they can politically take down Trump. But interestingly, in this email from Ghislaine Maxwell to Jeffrey Epstein back in 2011, she says, quote, "I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Virginia, she spent hours at my house with him, and he has never once been mentioned," which kind of implies that Trump is innocent. But of course, that didn't stop Trump from going on a mad tweet storm today in which he wrote that the Democrats are using the Jeffrey Epstein hoax to try to deflect from their massive failures, in particular the most recent one, the shutdown.
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this panel show are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of this channel, its affiliates, sponsors, or production team. This content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. We encourage respectful dialogue and critical thinking around the topics discussed.
Party. Why I like the new party? Number one, it's a group of people that's on a panel. We all have differences, but we all basically still come together at the end of the day. The new party for me is about unity. The new party for me is about educating people to the truth, letting people know what's been going on in our country. With that being said, shout out to the new party, man. We're going to keep it going with y'all.
Welcome to the new party. I'm Nora Christine.
I'm Gray Mars.
I'm Enzo.
It's Mia.
I'm Kim.
I'm Skeptic.
And I'm Kamal.
And shout out to Terry. She became a member. Where's the sound effects, Kamal?
Hold on. I got you.
Thank you for becoming a member. We greatly appreciate you. I need everybody to put ones in the chat if you can hear an echo. Ones in the chat if you hear an echo. Nothing if you don't. So guys, we're going to kick it off tonight. Our topic is MAGA Dead, the movement's future after 2025. We're going to break it down, and we're going to talk about first about the latest bombshell, Epstein hoax. Democrats just won't move on from that Epstein hoax. Kim, you are pretty in the, well, I guess you're left, but you're in the middle in the sense of you dog out Democrats and Republicans. What is your thoughts on the Epstein hoax? Is it hoax? Is it real? What do you think?
Oh, it's not a hoax. I wish they would release everything. And then even then, what they have is probably not, it's probably worse than we could imagine. Right? What do you mean by, like, how far deep do you want me to go? Like, because it's not a hoax, right? I think we're all in agreement on this, right? No? Okay. Why are we not in agreement?
Because
Hoax
that one
with Donald Trump's
email,
involved.
yeah, that one email that they put out yesterday talking about Clinton not being involved, that's where they lost me.
Okay. Yeah, so that could either be fabricated because I'm sure he didn't just stay on the tarmac, or it could just be that they were being sarcastic or trying to cover their ass. I'm sure there's an explanation for that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The whole thing is we're forgetting about how Jeffrey Epstein was working with the New York Times as a smear campaign against Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
We have victims stating that Bill Clinton was at the island. We have groundskeepers at the island showing Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Clinton having dinner in his living room on the island. Bill Clinton bringing Jeffrey Epstein to the White House 17 times, white logs 26 times.
There's actual
I don't believe anything about
women
these.
giving him a massage. There's a portrait of him in a red dress.
Yeah.
So we're in agreement. What's the problem? Why is Trump not guilty?
Because we have victims saying that Donald Trump's not involved. We have lawyers saying Donald Trump's not involved. We have testimony from Maxwell versus USA stating Donald Trump's not
Not
involved.
involved with regards to what you think maybe he just didn't sleep with underage women?
Yeah, we have victims stating that.
Okay. So, so you think that they're trying to pin him with underage women, underage girls? Okay. Well, until they do, then I guess we'll address it at that point. But we should release all the Epstein files. They're very important.
Yeah, release at this point and watch the world burn.
I want to know everything on everyone, even Chomsky, who's one of my heroes. No one is immune. Please release everything.
Well, I'm going to play this clip, guys. Megyn Kelly put her foot in her mouth, and I'm going to let Skeptic go next. But this is what Megyn Kelly had to say, which really was disappointing and shocking. Here we go.
For Epstein, I've said this before, but just as a reminder, I do know somebody very, very close to this case who is in a position to know virtually everything. Not everything, but virtually everything. And this person has told me from the start, years and years ago, that Jeffrey Epstein, in this person's view, was not a pedophile. This is this person's view, who was there for a lot of this, but that he was into the barely legal type. Like he liked 15-year-old girls. And I realize this is disgusting. I'm definitely not trying to make an excuse for this. I'm just giving you facts. That he wasn't into like 8-year-olds, but he liked the very young teen types that could pass for even younger than they were, but would look legal to a passerby. And that is what I believed, and that was what I reliably was told for many years. And it wasn't until we heard from Pam Bondi that they had tens of thousands of videos of alleged, forgive me, they used to call it kiddie porn, now they call it child sexual abuse material, on his computer, that for the first time I thought, oh no, he was an actual pedophile. I mean, only a pedophile gets off on young children abuse videos. She's never clarified it. I don't know whether it's true. I have to be honest. I don't really trust Pam Bondi's word on the Epstein matters anymore. Yeah, so I don't know what's true about him, but we have yet to see anybody come forward and say, I was I was under 10. I was under 14 when I first came within his
So that makes it okay.
purview. Look, it's you can say that's a distinction without a difference.
No,
Like I
it's
said,
not.
I'm
I think there is a
not
difference.
comparing the
There's a
innards.
difference
I'm listening
between
to that.
a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old. You know, it's just
Enough of that.
Man, Skeptic. Girl, I gave you an easy one to respond to. Like, this is going to be the best clip of the night. This is breaking news. What do you think about the defense? What do you think of it?
That's a weird statement, I will say. That's like a weird statement because she said the barely legal and then she said 15. I didn't know 15 was barely legal. I thought 17 was barely legal. What do you mean 15? Like, I don't
18
know.
was.
Yeah, like, or 17, 18 is what people call barely legal, right? When it's like a little, oh, when do you turn 18 or whatever. But 15 is wild. I don't know if they have kids or like if they've ever known a teenage girl. Like in my hometown, a teenage girl was unalived and cut up into little pieces who was a friend of mine. She was 15. She was not a woman. She was a child. She was a teenager. And like she was messing around with an older guy. And I don't know if people can like quantify how a child thinks differently. There's a reason why we still call them teenagers and children because they may look a certain way, but in their brains, they haven't matured. Women, if you're a girl, I know girls that have, are considered to turn into ladies at 9 and 11 years old. That doesn't make them an adult. That doesn't mean that they have mentally matured and gotten there. Like, it's a weird conversation to hear from a woman because, like, woman to woman, I'm like very protective of other women and girls and children. Like, that's wild, like disgustingly wild. But you do have to lower yourself to that frame of mind to take up for a person who is implicated in this type of thing. You have to start having these weird conversations and saying things like, well, where do you draw the line? I draw the line where it's legal, 18. That's where we should draw the line. Like, what are you talking about? Really crazy. I never thought I would hear political commentators get like stoop that low to that level, but that's where we're at with this administration.
Well, let's hear what Hotep had to say, and then I'm gonna let Mia go next. This is what Hotep had to say about it being a hoax. You know, many people are still defending it, though.
I open up X and I see all these people talking about Epstein. I'm like, Epstein? Like, we've brought that distraction back out again? So now everybody's talking about Epstein. I'm like, wait a second. I've seen this play before. So I'm like, okay, what else is going on in the world that they're trying to distract us from? And that's when I saw this. I was like, oh, okay. This is the old trick. Look over there. Don't look over here. A lot of y'all gonna fall for it. You're probably on the internet screaming, oh, release the Epstein files, release the Epstein files, and some more shit. You're just distracted. The rest of these influencers and grifters, they're gonna grift the Epstein thing for clicks, whatever, whatever. If you want the real truth, you gotta fuck with the Hoteps, okay? You gotta mess with the Hoteps. Watch my show, 2 p.m. Eastern on kick.com/Hotep Jesus Live. Watch Hotep Jesus Live. You really want to know truth. You really want to know what's going on out here. If you want to understand the code control design, follow me. Don't follow these grifters, man. They're going to lie to you, deceive you, cheat.
All right, bro. We gave you enough free promo. Mia, what do you think? Is this a distraction?
I honestly, I can't believe I'm agreeing with a Hotep. There's a lot of firsts for me happening this year, man. This is fucked up. Having agreeing with Nick Fuentes, me thinking agreeing with Candace Owens. I'm agreeing with some random fucking Hotep that a raccoon dragged from the dumpster somewhere. But like, I mean, he's not wrong. We see this all the time, bro. They breadcrumb us with Jeffrey Epstein. They literally sprinkle something here, a whisper here, a whisper there. We start talking about it. We make it a big deal. And then all of a sudden, like, they casually do something that's like wicked fucked up. I mean, I don't know. They're very obviously trying to hide something. I will say that Donald Trump, I believe, is trying, he's thoroughly trying to crash their market, and they're dumping $2,000 stimulus checks on us to depreciate the dollar even more so they can bring in crypto. But those headlines and that executive order was all like super, super quiet. Like nobody's talking about that because everybody's talking about Jeffrey Epstein. And like the sad part about it is there's so many victims out there and there are so many names. And I don't understand why we keep talking about like the same four, like Trump, Epstein, Clinton, and like Bill Gates. I want to know about the 4,000 that are out there that, Ghislaine Maxwell went to prison for. I want to know about them. I don't care about the high profile people. I'm trying to know the secret people that are still out there committing atrocities against humankind. But instead, all we have is disingenuous motherfuckers in Congress trying to breadcrumb us with this stupid stuff. It's like, bro, you're not telling me anything that I don't already know. These people are all pigs. Give me the real information because I'm trying to see what other piglets are out there. And for me, it's all disingenuous at this point in time. They're never going to tell us the truth and we're never going to know how deep the plot goes. But, we do now know that, they're dumping all this extra money into the economy to depreciate the dollar so they can bring in crypto. We now know that.
That's true. Shout out to Behave. Thank you for the super chat. Kamal.
Yeah, every time I got hella sound effects, I'll be having to scroll through.
Okay, I got you. Behave said, great panel, common sense thinkers. I agree. Shout out to our panel. Give Skeptic a follow. Kim, Mia, Enzo, Kamal, Gray, myself. So yes, this is a great panel. And this next clip, I'm going to let Kamal and Gray respond to. This is Thomas Massey, and this is what he had to say.
Reasons he's flipped. One, his rich and powerful friends who've donated to him or go to his dinner parties. Like, he doesn't want to embarrass them. And they may in fact not even be guilty of a crime. They may just be very embarrassed that they were having extramarital sex, with these women, for instance. So that's one thing. But I think there's also the intelligence aspect of this that goes even deeper. Maybe Trump is on one plane and he's thinking, I can't embarrass my friends. But there may be people in the administration who are career people who are thinking on another plane. They're like, well, let's convince Trump he's going to embarrass his friends, when in reality what we're trying to do is protect our sources and methods, which may involve sex trafficking.
Yeah.
And we don't want to embarrass our partner, Israel, in this time when the popularity for their war or support for their war is at an all-time low. And now we're going to find out that their defense minister, Ehud Barak, was documented with Jeffrey Epstein 3 dozen times, probably even while he was defense minister. He had previously been prime minister. I don't know that he knew Epstein during that period. I'm not sure how much of those dates overlap, but there are reasons that they want to protect them. There's reasons he's flipped. And I don't think his children or J.D. Vance or even Pam Bondi or Kash Patel were read into all that when they originally said all of this stuff should be released. I mean, if it's a hoax, what were those binders that Pam Bondi gave out? Was she just fueling a hoax?
Oh man, Kamal, is it a hoax? Why the flip?
Man, all these motherfuckers be flip flopping. Hey, we gotta bring back to what was the decrepit white lady that y'all played earlier? What was her name?
Megyn Kelly?
Yeah, Megyn Kelly. Did y'all catch she said 15 is better than 5?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I thought I was tripping. She was like, hey, if it's gonna be some P-foul, at least let's get the around the preteens is better than the young kids. I'm like, damn, they out here just wilding. God damn.
Have you seen the crime statistics in the YT community? When it comes to child molestation and kitty corn, they outpace Black Americans like 70 to 20%. And I think like everybody else is like 10%. They outpace us when it comes to sex crimes at an outrageous rate. They always like to bring up violent crime, but I'm gonna be 100% real. I'd rather hang out with a homie that shivs somebody than with a homie that's raping his kid. I'm sorry. Point blank, period. I can get down with somebody trying to defend themselves and they had to take it to that extreme. I cannot get down with somebody who is just molesting everybody. And those are the crimes they commit. And they try to act superior, but 70% of them commit these kind of crimes. Like if it's a sexual crime against a child, 7 out of 10, it is a white person committing that crime. Women too, white women as well, outpace Black women when it comes to those kind of crimes dramatically.
So they the Tom Brady of sex.
Yeah.
Okay, for sure. Enzo, you want to say something real quick?
I am not white. We don't take those people. Nope. We do not condone any of that. All I needed to say.
Sometimes I'm white. Today I'm Mexican.
Oh shit.
I'm an Italian American.
Okay. I want to add to that.
Oh,
It's
damn.
also mostly heterosexual white men. Just
Lord.
Yes.
Nope.
We have to
Do not identify with them.
They
Right.
delineation for sure. But
Exactly.
I
Sorry,
will
go
say
ahead.
though, I don't think it's a hoax or nothing like that. I will say that the emails talk about Bill Clinton not being there. Bill Clinton got head in the White House. You think he not gonna be on the island? Like, come on now. I'm like, let's just use common sense, man. You getting head in the White House, I ain't gonna be far-fetched of you being on that island. Like, just saying.
Gray, remember when we were covering who was going to be in his cabinet and Kash Patel came up. And Kash Patel, we covered the hearings. What did he promise in the hearings? What was one of the things he kept talking about leading up to him getting confirmed in?
Yeah, of course, they talked about releasing the Epstein files. But my response to the video of what he was saying about Trump embarrassing him for his friends, these types of cases affect not just the perpetrator, it does affect people around them. And so from my own personal experience, I have a relative, she only has the mind of like an 8-year-old, and she was molested and the guy went to prison, and then when he got out, he married her. They're still married to this day. So, these types of things happens. I still go home, I give her a few dollars, but I don't do nothing to the guy. But we should think about the families, because like people could react with Donald Trump or whoever if this really happened to their relative. Because that guy walked past my grandma's house and I crossed my mind to give him a dirt nap, and I was on 12. So we should think of families. We should think about the people that's affected by these types of crimes.
Well, that's true. Well, the next thing that has being talked about this week, what did Trump say about American workers? This all leads into is MAGA dead. Here's Trump and what he had to say this week about H-1 visas.
Be a country like what we have right now.
And does that
the
mean
Republicans have to talk about it? Laura.
And does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
we have plenty of talented people here.
No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here.
No, you don't have. You don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles, or I'm going to put
How did we ever do it before?
Well,
I'll
give you an example. In Georgia, they raided because they wanted illegal immigrants out. They had people from South Korea that made batteries all their lives. Making batteries are very complicated. It's not an easy thing. It's very dangerous. A lot of explosions, a lot of problems. They had like 500 or 600 people, early stages, to make batteries and to teach people how to do it. Well, they wanted them to get out of the country. You're going to need that, Laura. I mean, I know you and I disagree on this. You can't just say a country's coming in, going to invest $10 billion to build a plant, and going to take people off an unemployment line who haven't worked in 5 years, and they're going to start making missiles. It doesn't work that way.
So, Enzo, we have 300 million people here. You mean to tell me we don't have talented people? Do you agree with what Trump said, or do you disagree? What do you think?
I'm going to be very consistent on this, and what this goes into what I've been saying for years, or for months now, with this entire situation with the H-1B visas. For certain aspects and certain industries, I understand where Trump is coming from. Like you brought up, like the missile industry. You're not going to take somebody that is pretty much fresh out compared to somebody who's worked in the aerospace industry. But yeah, you're not going to take the fresh person over somebody who has experience. And with the H-1Bs, I agree, and I'm happy that they up the price of the H-1Bs to $100,000 per person for them to come into the country to work. On the other hand, yes, we do have a complete. How many? I'm sorry, I'm losing my words now. So we do have a lot of people that are unemployed, but for these high-skilled jobs, I have no problem with them bringing in X amount of people to bring in for those jobs. So they're going to bring them in for lower skilled jobs that Americans can work, that you don't need qualifications for or anything like that. That's when I'm going to start seeing a problem. I just want to, at this point, I'm not really going to comment on it until we see who we bring in, how many of them we bring in, and what industries they go in. And if it's for high skill jobs that we don't have enough people for, or if they're just bringing in everybody and anybody for low skill jobs and medium skill jobs. So
I'm going to let Skeptic in here. Skeptic, what do you think, as an American that's been in this country all your life? Your husband, he has a skill. He's an engineer. He's in the field where they're bringing in people from other countries. What are your thoughts to him now saying that? Do you agree with the H-1B visas? What do you think?
See, I had talked about this a while back. I had said the negative repercussion of what he was doing was going to affect academia, and it was going to affect the high skill workers, because I don't know if people know this, but we rely on immigrants. Like, I think when people they think about immigrants, they correlate it to undocumented immigrants with like low skill jobs, but that's not true. We actually we have a lot of immigrants, students that come to America to help innovation and to help with academia and research. Like, I don't know if anyone's ever been in the science field, but I had said this before, we're going to cause a brain drain. This man is very unwise, I'll say it like that, in how he speaks. But what he's saying was probably told to him in a way like with facts and like showing him why it is that we need to bring in students and not raise the price of the H-1B visa from 6,000 to 100,000. Like it's just not realistic. When he first came in, he signed an executive order that raised the price for you to get the student visa from about it normally is about $5,000 to $6,000, and the requisites for you to even get it are pretty difficult. He raised that to $100,000, which is like so dumb. And now he's having to walk that back. It's the same thing as tariffs. You can't attack a problem without having the solution. He attacked the problem and had no solution for it. And now when you're seeing the repercussions of it, he's having to walk himself back on it.
So in summary, you agree with Trump. Am I hearing that? Am I hearing that you saying you agree with Trump? We need to bring some people in here that's skilled and give the H-1B visas out.
The H-1B visa has its purpose. The H-1B visa does not take up all of the high skill work jobs and all of the students. Like if you understand the way that we've handled it, it wasn't an issue before. He came in and made it an issue. He came in and broke something that didn't need anything to be done to it. So now he's having to go back and set it up the way it was before. When he first did that with the EO, I had said it was wrong. And I said this was going to cause some backlash, and now it is.
Well, I have a clip by Will Klein, and then I'm going to let Kim respond to it. He breaks down what the H-1B visas are for those of you that don't know.
An H-1B visa. Follow me over to the wall. H-1B visas are a mechanism of legal immigration that is supposed to bring in skilled workers into the United States. They allow for U.S. employers to hire foreign professionals in specialty occupations. What are those occupations? Well, they're mostly in the fields of tech, engineering, medicine, finance, IT. It requires that a bachelor's degree accompany that worker or higher education in a specified field. Now, here's how it works. An employer sponsors a foreign worker, and they can sponsor that visa for up to 3 years and then extend it to 6 years. Workers can apply for permanent residency later. There is a visa cap, 85,000 new visas each year. Now, of those 85,000, those are only new visas, new H-1Bs. About 400,000 every year are approved. Most of those are renewals, showing that they don't just stay for 3 years, but are renewed and extended past that time frame. Currently, there are supposedly around 700,000 H-1B visa holders in America. Now, who is coming to this country to take these high-skilled jobs? As I mentioned, STEM fields dominate the occupations, and most of the workers come from India. In fact, 70% of H-1B visa holders come from India. Another 10 to 15% come from China. 80% of H-1B visa approvals are for entry-level or junior-level jobs. That's a little hard to stomach when we hear that we're not talented enough or that we're not skilled enough for these jobs, when you consider that most of these jobs are actually at entry or junior level jobs. And it's definitely to the benefit of corporations, tech companies that can hire foreign workers, trust me on this, cheaper than American workers. This is laid out, by the way, by billionaire tech entrepreneur Palmer Luckey.
There's so much H-1B abuse. You would not believe what I saw when I was in Silicon Valley. It is insane. It's obviously a program to try and replace U.S. workers with basically slave labor that can't ever escape. The H-1B abuse is crazy.
And it's not just Silicon Valley. The Labor Department launched at least 175 investigations targeting potential abuses in the H-1B visa program. They alleged some foreign workers with advanced degrees paid less than what the job description said. That, of course, not only deprives American workers of that job, who have to have the going rate, but it drives down wages for visa holders and American workers.
I don't think it matters about the race, Kim. So let's be clear on that. But he's right. Paying these people, these visa holders, half. They're paying them in when the whole thing was going on in December, when Trump first got elected, when we were waiting on him to be inaugurated. This was a big outrage on Twitter. I don't know if you know, but that was the whole thing. Come to find out, even, at the time, the guy that owns X, Elon was bringing them in, paying them $80,000 when he would normally pay someone $150K for. What is your thoughts on this? And do you agree with Trump? Should we still allow them to come in, or should something be done?
And in 2016, Trump had one of those persons suing Disney for the H-1B visas during the 2016. That gave him a big push. He really ran more as a populist the first time around. So I just want to clarify that H-1B visas are failed employment and labor policy, not immigration policy. I believe in immigration reform. I believe in amnesty and expansion of DACA. Immigrants are not our enemies. Undocumented immigrants are just people. I know people who are undocumented. Just want to get that out of the way. They were terrorizing my city 2 blocks down from my house this morning. So that made me very sad. But H-1B visas are failed labor policies, not failed immigration policies, because they're allowing mostly ordinary skilled workers to come in through the H-1B visas. That's why my conservative friends love H-1B visas, because they love cheap labor. So they're legally allowed to pay these indentured workers a lot less than American workers. And that's what happened with the Disney lawsuit and dozens of other similar lawsuits with the H-1B visas, where they get employees, American employees, to train their replacements. And it should be illegal under the H-1B visa. I actually wrote notes down because I'm better scripted. But I will say it's not normally used. It's the very minimal is used for specialized workers. Neither Obama or Trump or Biden have fixed the H-1B visas. And also, I just want to add really quickly, as a labor and employment litigation paralegal, I represented H-1B visa employees. I also represented, as a paralegal, not an attorney, I also represented undocumented workers. A lot of the times you get corporations who abuse workers. They prefer H-1B visa employees because they could pay them a lot less than they pay American employees. And it's still a benefit to them even after they pay the H-1B visa sponsorship. But by far, wage theft is the biggest form of theft. Then it completely encompasses any type of like burglary or any type of minimal like crimes of poverty and desperation. It really takes away, when we talk about the H-1B visas as an immigration issue and not a failed labor issue, it takes the onus away from the corporations who are the ones doing the abuse. A lot of the times these corporations too, like I said, when I represented H-1B visa employees, sometimes they would even replace them with cheaper H-1B visa employees. And then even with undocumented workers, you get these huge corporations hiring undocumented workers to not pay what are prevailing wages, which are basically a bid on government contracts to pay employees more. A lot of corporations will hire undocumented and H-1B visa employees so they don't get that prevailing wage. They save a lot of money like that. So at the end, it's more of a class corporate issue than it is an immigration issue. And like I said, I believe in immigration reform.
Could I add something to the statement that I was saying? Because I don't know if people understand that we have an engineer shortage. Like in 2019 or 2020, I remember that they were going to bring in engineers from Mexico. Mexico was going to help America out by sending engineers in. So if you're going to stop, for example, the H-1B visa, you have to have something to replace those workers with. You can't just say we're not going to bring these high-skilled workers in because they're getting paid less. That's a corporation issue. And if you don't bring them in, we're just not going to have engineers. Like, it's going to be wild.
I don't think we should get rid of the H-1B visa. I think it should be I think they should fix it to only include the specialized skilled workers like engineers and other workers that they actually do need. But the majority of the workers coming in through the H-1B visas are ordinary skilled workers. They're not specialized workers. They come, and like I said, there's dozens of lawsuits from like that big Disney lawsuit that Trump paraded around that guy with during the 2016 election. They're literally getting these American workers to train their replacements. Like, I think Disney did it with like 800 of them. And a lot of corporations do it with a lot like of employees like this. So like, again, like I said, I believe in immigration reform. It's not an immigration issue. I think there is a use for the H-1B visa, but how it is currently, it doesn't work. And no Republican or liberal president has fixed it.
Let me say this, and this guy brings up a good point, and I'm not only going to tell you from my experience. I don't think we got no goddamn shortage in engineers, because I went to college with at University of Central Florida and Florida A&M University, and there are thousands of students graduating, and in particular Black students with engineering degrees, and they're getting replaced. And also, thank you, Michael, the military trains 18-year-olds to fix fighter jets and operate nuclear reactors. We all know why big corps want H1. The military trains people to work on these machines. Why can't we have a program from military to workforce and give them these jobs? I don't agree with that. I'm sorry.
I will actually.
But I mean, just saying that doesn't necessarily correlate with the data that we have, because in my, experience from what I've heard, they're having to bring in people from Mexico City that have to like learn English and learn English words. And I'm talking about high skill. They are literally writing code for like electricity, DCS systems. I'm talking hard things that engineers have to do. And because there are no engineers that can do this, they're having to look for whoever they can. The majority of the engineers that people work with hand in hand are not American. And it's not because they don't want to hire American, it's because there's a shortage, and the data shows that also.
Well, I want to get some foundational. I want to get some foundational American in this conversation. Hold on, guys.
Okay.
Because we need to acknowledge that there are generations of people that have been here. I'm a first generation American. But Kamal, what do you think? Did you go to college with any engineers? What do you think? What do you think about this H1B1 thing?
Hey, shout out to Chucky, shout out to Beware, shout out to JN. All got fucking degrees in engineering. One even got a master's. Guess where they couldn't get a job at? Any of these places that hire engineers, they had to create their own shit or go in another lane. Come on now, we're not gonna act ignorant to the fucking fact. Nah, man, we got engineers here in the fucking homeland that ain't getting jobs. I don't want to hear that. That's just straight bull malarkey in my eyes. That's straight bullshit in my eyes. I'm telling y'all right now, man. I just named 3 people. I know other plethora engineers that went to San Diego State. Is one of the best engineering schools out here in the motherfucking country. And they ain't got a job in no engineering shit. They had to go create their own construction company and do all this other shit. So I don't know. Maybe Skeptic, where you from, is a
My husband is a foundational Black American. His family can trace their lineage all the way back, and he found a job in Texas. So if we're gonna use examples as instead of using data, we're gonna use each other's examples. Come up with examples. I mean, all day long.
Yeah,
we can
you
look
can
at
lie
what the
with that,
data.
though.
We can look at what the data is saying. The data is saying we need more engineers. We're just going to not bring in engineers and just say no. We're going to need more Americans.
Bring them in when we got them homeland grown here. I just named 3 motherfuckers. You
Right,
name
but
one
your
person, I
3
named
examples, do not
You just
explain
looked at
all
the
of
team.
America.
Well, then your one example don't explain all of America. What the fuck you
Right.
talking
That's
about?
why we go by data. That's why we use data. We go by facts so that therefore your story cannot contradict my story, and then we just go off of our
And you coming with
experiences.
data points, which is
Facts
bullshit.
go
You can
above
lie
what your
with stats.
experience is. That's
Go
why we
read
don't
the
go
book.
by our experience. We go by what the facts are saying, and we had a shortage in
You
engineers.
just went by your experience, Skepta. You
And
just
you did too. That was my
Question.
point. You're running into my point, and you're still not getting it. That was my whole point.
So did we actually
Because
have?
Nora asked me, do I know anybody that is an engineer that's in a situation? So I gave my anecdotal goddamn example because that's what
And
was
I
asked.
did too.
Why though? You
All
didn't need
right.
to.
Well, I mean,
God
so
damn.
did we actually have a legitimate shortage, or was it that corporations don't want to pay Americans? Because at the end of the day,
Yes.
I mean, at the end of the day, like my literal ex-boyfriend from years and years ago was a nuclear engineer on the USS Santa Fe. I've seen it. I've been on the submarine. We literally train Americans to be nuclear engineers in the military. So I mean, I've been there, girl. So it's one of those things where, do we actually have a shortage, or do we have companies that are purposefully choosing to get outside workers because they don't want to have to pay specifically military with the experience? Because you're talking about people that have done 8 to 10 years in the military, that are on nuclear reactors, that are literally on these submarines operating these nuclear reactors. And when they come out, they're going to anticipate making $150K when they could bring somebody with the same level of education, potentially the same level of experience for a fraction of the cost, even after paying, you know, the HB1 visa before was the 6,000 or whatever rate. I mean, so do we actually have a shortage, or are these corporations just not wanting to pay Americans? Because we all know how billionaires like that profit line.
Well,
So,
like I said, if you look at the data, like I said, from 2015,
Hold
what
on,
was
hold
it?
on, wait.
2019.
I'm going to mute you because everybody needs to get a turn. Hold on. Come on. I understand that this is something you're very passionate about, but everybody needs to get a turn. Gray, what do you think?
I understand what both sides are saying, that we should definitely, especially coming from Trump of all people, you would think that he would say, we're going to give Americans jobs first. So that does make logical sense. It's a Republican conservative president. You would think it's about Americans first. But I do also understand what Skeptic and Kimberly are saying when they're saying, well, these jobs are necessary. They need these jobs right now, because it's not these people that are saying this. It's people like Elon Musk was pushing this. They were pushing for these people to do this so they can use, they've invested in AI. We haven't talked about the AI bubble. People are heavily invested in this, so they need workers who can do the job. It's a business decision, basically.
All right. What were you going to say now, Skeptic?
And then
I'm quoting the data. That has nothing to do with people's feelings. I'm giving you the data. If we're going to cut the visas, we need to have a solution. And we didn't have a solution, like I said, in 2019, when we were asking Mexico to send their engineers to us because we had a shortage. So like, you can say what's happened to these 3 engineers or whatever. Maybe where you live at, they have a surplus of engineers there. You may have to move to a different area. I know West Texas is always in need of engineers. They're always in need of people that work in that particular field. Nobody wants to go out there and live out there. So that may be, I mean, I don't know. I'm telling you what the data is telling you. There's a shortage. So what they're deciding is, if we cut this, it's going to hurt us. Therefore, we're going to allow people to come and work these jobs. Now, if we have Americans to fill the jobs, by all means, fill them up. Nobody's arguing to have engineers that are American not have jobs. Like, nobody would want to have that. We're just saying, if you're going to cut that, you have to have a solution. You can't just make a cut or make a decision and not have something to substitute it with.
So what's the solution?
What solution have they
Obviously,
found
bring
for
the
this?
Mexicans over.
I guess
That's the solution.
What solution?
Yeah, just
What
bring them
solution
over.
have they found before? What was the solution they found before?
50K, I guess. Shit, that's a solution right there. Boom.
Bring all the Mexicans. Can I say something really quick?
Yes, I will. Let me acknowledge the super chat, and I'll let you go next, Kim. I promise. Michael said, maybe you have to move. She pulled a Ben Shapiro.
For real, fact.
That's awesome. That's funny.
Have to move, pack
I
up
didn't
and
even figure
move.
that.
Go ahead, Kim. Go ahead.
Yeah. So a lot of the times these corporations will do these studies. They'll pay for studies where they have to prove their case, right? At least for public opinion, that there is a shortage of workers, at least in this country. People can move like interstate, that's fine. But we live in the country where out of the whole world, everybody looks up to our education system. We get people coming to our country to go to our Ivy League colleges, and they train here. And sometimes the student immigrants that come study here, they stay on the H-1B visas, but wages are flat and declining. If there was a shortage of skilled workers, the wages would be going up, similar to like goods and services like eggs and lumber, but they aren't. And the reason why the H-1B visa needs to get, they need to fix it. They don't need to get rid of it. We do need skilled workers. I'm sure there is a need for it. I know there is a need for it. But right now it's not being used for that. The majority of the people coming in through the H-1B visas are ordinary skilled workers. They're not specialized workers. They're taking the jobs of Americans. Americans are training these immigrants coming in, and they're being replaced. And this country should always prioritize Americans. That's what a lot of the issue is with, I found, particularly with Black Americans and immigration. It's because there's a disconnect between both parties and immigration and labor rights, labor and employment. There's a way that it could all get squared out, and the H-1B visa is one of the reasons why you get that. At least it's like a disconnect between the Americans, because yeah, when you get these lawsuits, huge lawsuits of hundreds of Americans literally replacing themselves with immigrant H-1B visa workers, they're literally indentured workers because they're paid less, they're tethered to the employment. Of course, corporations want indentured workers because they save a lot of money, and at the end of the day, corporations save a lot of money. That's why also a lot of corporations like illegal immigration.
I want to say something too.
Yeah, let me play this clip, Enzo, and then I'll let you respond. This is a throwback
That's
clip
fine.
of Trump, and I'll have you react to it because I was going to call on you next. Here we go.
Well, I think, and I know the H-1B very well, and it's something that I frankly use, and I shouldn't be allowed to use. We shouldn't have it. Very, very bad for workers. And second of all, I think it's very important to say, well, I'm a businessman, and I have to do what I have to do, and it's sitting there waiting for you, but it's very bad. It's very bad for business in terms of, it's very bad for our workers, and it's unfair for our workers, and we should end it.
So this was 2016 Trump. Why the change, Enzo? And you could say what you want to say as well.
So I don't think it's a change at all. By upping the price of the H-1B visas to $100,000, that's going to eliminate a lot of people coming in taking these entry and middle jobs, because you're not going to have people that are going into an entry level job or a middle ground job. It's going to pay $100,000 because the wages that they're going to get is not going to make up for that in the first year or not. So I agree with him. That's one way of eliminating taking these lower positions in these middle class positions from American citizens. That's going to be able to put American citizens back to work. When it comes down to the engineering field, I looked it up. We have 920,000 engineering jobs in the United States. 825,000 of them are filled. And we have, since the year 2000, a 48% increase in engineering graduates since 2000. So we have the engineers in this country. And if we're going to fill 25% with H-1B visa people, I don't see a problem with that at all. Because we need around 400,000 new engineers each year to keep it going. So substituting 25% really, I don't really see a problem with people that are paying $100,000 to come to this country when it was, again, about 2,000 to 5,000 before. That's why you had a lot of people coming in here taking these middle jobs from Americans. I don't see that with this now with the H-1B visas, and a lot less people are going to come here now because of that, because corporations are not going to pay that. They're not going to pay that themselves. So this is one way of literally just making it go extinct. And I agree with Donald Trump doing this.
I think we found some common ground. He says he agrees. He agrees, skeptic. Y'all found common ground on the H-1B visas. Open it up. But the last topic of the night, guys, is fun one: MTG versus Trump and Republicans. This is what AOC had to say about MTG, and I'm actually going to let Skeptic go next and respond to it because I know she loves AOC.
For you. MTG, people are like, oh my God, she's saying all of these things. Like, what's gotten into her lately? Oh, like she's bucking against Trump. She's bucking against the administration. Marjorie Taylor Greene wanted to run for Senate in Georgia. She wanted to run for Senate earlier this year in the state of Georgia. She wanted to be the Republican nominee for Senate. So she was gearing up for that statewide race, and Trump told her no. Trump said no. And the White House and Trump land shut down Marjorie Taylor Greene's personal ambitions to run for Senate. And she has been on a revenge tour ever since.
So, Skeptic, what do you think about what MTG had to say? And in your thoughts, do you think she's gearing up to run for president?
I don't know who, AOC or MTG.
Well, AOC's another topic, another day. MTG.
Okay. I definitely think that she's thinking long term for sure. Because I listened to an interview of hers where she was saying how the removal of the ACA is going to be a big backlash, and how you need to take an exit ramp to get rid of the undocumented immigrants, which is a big like backpedaling from what she was saying before. But I think that she herself, or with her constituents, she has seen and has heard the stories of how people are being affected. And she was speaking about her son and how he was getting ACA. And now that that's going to be removed, she can see how young people are going to be negatively affected. She spoke on the housing market, how it's so hard for people to buy houses. So I think she's thinking long term. She's not just riding the Trump train, because she knows that when, things start coming back, those things are going to negatively affect her political career. I think she's smart in doing that. And I think that she's smart in trying to create that distance between her and this administration. I never thought I would say that she was smart, because I was not a fan of her whatsoever. But I think if you just think critically for like 5 minutes, you can look at what they're doing and think like, okay, long term, there's going to be a big backlash. And I don't think this is going to be beneficial to me. So give her props for that. I think a lot more Republicans need to do it, and they are doing it, but I think there should be a lot more.
Well, yeah, she's been taking backlash because this is what she had to say about the economy, and then I'll let Mia go next.
Have you heard from people, of your constituents, about affordability issues, and what are you doing to try and keep costs low, across the board?
Yeah, it's something we hear about every single day. So under the Biden administration, it was in 2022, we saw inflation hit a 40-year high at 9%. And these prices have not come back down. I give the President Trump as his administration, they're holding it right now at 2.5%. That's pretty much the average, and that's a good thing. However, life is unaffordable. And with the health insurance crisis coming that will start January 1st with these new premiums, and credit card debt is at an all-time high. With our economy having some softening, which we could see possibly a recession, these are alarm bells for me, and they're blaring so loud. I've been talking about affordability for months now, but I think I'm the only Republican that's been talking about it. And I think it's a crisis, and I just think it is a complete failure on both sides of the aisle for anybody that serves in Congress to allow this to happen to the American people.
Mia, do you agree? Or is alarm bells going off? What's your thoughts?
I think MTG is incredibly smart for positioning herself as this. So she's moving from far right and she's starting to come to be more of a centrist right, which is where she needs to be, especially if she, as AOC said, if she does want to seek the Senate. I mean, right now, Georgia has 2 senators and both of them are Democrats. So if she ever wanted to be a senator in Georgia, it would be smart to position herself as more of a moderate with a tinge of right. She'd gather more votes. But she is right. The economy is heading towards a crash. So she is smart for being honest with the people, because the people are going to look once the economy crashes, and it's going to crash very soon. Once that does, it's one of those things where people are going to it's going to be a power vacuum. People are going to start pointing fingers, and she will be able to say, I told you guys this. I said the economy was softening. I said we had an affordability. I said we had all these crises. She's smart. She can get in front of this storm because the shit storm is coming. We all know it's coming. And like, there's no economist in the entire country that is not saying that the shit storm isn't coming. It is. So I really feel like she's smart to position herself as a voice of reason, as somebody telling the truth, because we all see it. We all see the prices. We all see how unaffordable houses are. We all see our insurance going up, whether it's health, whether it's car, whether it's asset protection. We all see all these things. So I feel like she is incredibly intelligent for positioning herself to be a truth teller, to be straight up about it, and to have these conversations.
Well, yeah, this is what Trump had to say with her. He's not very happy with her. And then I'll let Kamal respond.
That's the great, big, beautiful bill, which is the biggest tax cuts in the history of our country. So when somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's now catering to the other side, I don't know what, I guess she's, got some kind of an act going, but I'm surprised at her. But when somebody like Marjorie goes over and starts making statements like that, it shows she doesn't know.
Kamal, do you agree? What do you think about him kind of attacking her right now?
I mean, this is Donald Trump. You feel me? You go against Burberry, he gonna be on your ass. You can't just be on the team 1 minute, then on the next minute, you know what I mean, not be on the team. You expect Donald Trump not to say nothing. This is what I'm wondering though. Is MTG going to join up with Jasmine Crockett and be the ebony and ivory of politicians? I'm waiting for it. Let's get that happening.
Like a Thelma and Louise at the end where they just go over the cliff together because they're two crazy motherfuckers.
Yep. Let's get that going. You know what I mean? Go up with Margaret Taylor Greene and Jasmine Crockett. We know y'all know how to debate a certain way. Shit, y'all might as well team up and go against Trump. I'm waiting for it. You know, but
they going after each other too.
They were. Remember, they was the one.
The beach blonde, the clip where she was like, "You're a bad body beach blonde," and then she goes, "Can I your eyelashes? Can you see me when you're talking?" You remember when they
I remember Nancy Mace going at it with Jasmine Crockett.
That's
what I was
No.
More viral.
Yes.
That was the better one, right?
I forgot. That's
You
why
gotta
I
find
asked.
the
I was
clip.
like, wait,
we
didn't they go
gotta
after
roll
each
the
other?
tapes.
Yeah. Yo, that would be insane. I would love
And
to see
then I
that
think
though.
she
Not
called
gonna lie.
someone an idiot. Like Marjorie Taylor Greene called someone while like in a session an idiot, and they were like, "No, we're going to recuse you. Like you can't do that."
I remember
Too
that.
much.
Yeah. So, but to answer your question, I'm not even surprised Trump did it. I ain't even mad that Trump even doing that. What I'm mad about is what the fuck is he waiting for partying Diddy? Come on, man, let's get this shit rolling. Goddamn. I'm tired of people saying free Diddy. Nah, Trump, let's go. Come on, get Diddy out. You feel me? I'm just saying.
Invest in baby oil if that happens.
Hey,
And I have the clip that everyone's talking about. Come on, wait, let me play it.
I'd like to know if any of the Democrats on this committee are employing Judge Merchan's daughter. Please tell me what that has to do with Merrick Garland. Is she a porn star? Oh, Goldman. That's right. He's advising. Okay. Do you know what we're here for? You know we're here about AG. I don't think you know what you're here for. Well, you the one talking about. I think your fake eyelashes are messing up. No, ain't nothing. Hold on. Oh.
It was at this moment that she knew she fucked up.
Order, Mr. Order of your committee. Order, Ms. Crockett.
I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities. Damn! Correct?
What now?
They don't even get the reference.
I make a motion to strike those words.
I don't think that's a
Hold on. I'm
parliament.
trying to find clarification.
No, I reminded you. But she got her lick back. And then I'm gonna let Gray respond. She got her lick back this week. This is what Jasmine Crockett said, and this is what she had to say.
MAGA women receive gender-affirming care such as lip fillers, breast augmentation, etc. Why do you think they are so against gender-affirming care for trans people?
You know you want to say it.
Okay, so I have this thing where like you know a MAGA woman when you see one.
1000%.
They all have a look,
big
right?
back,
but they like they lips be up to anyway. That's a whole other issue. But yeah, they don't even know because when that was brought up on the House floor, because there was a discussion about this on the House floor. They were like, "How dare you say we use?" And it's like, no, that's exactly what y'all do. Y'all just didn't realize that that's what it is. But okay, yeah.
Gray, do you think that that's fair for her to say and talk about MAGA women, about the fillers and the this and the that, when she didn't like when people were talking about her eyelashes? Like, what do you think?
I see the trend on TikTok where they try to attack each other. It's some good-looking MAGA women. It's some good-looking liberal women. Like, I mean, I don't know when, like, political affiliation became something that was superficial. So, I mean, it's just like, I think there's a total bit difference in what someone physically looks like and the way somebody thinks.
Gray, I gotta call Cap, bro. Let's be real.
Ain't no good looking liberal women.
Politician women are freaking bums. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
Who's bums?
You can tell who's MAGA.
Most
Yeah, they're better looking.
Which one? But which one Kamal said? Of course,
every one that is a Republican. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna say like that. My girl is a top 10 out of 10 MAGA woman. I've never seen a good-looking liberal woman in my damn life. You could tell which ones they
Skeptic
are.
is a good
They
looking
got the
liberal
colored
woman.
hair. They got the septum
Totally.
rings. They got the big-ass gauges. They all over
Skeptic's
the place.
beautiful.
You can tell what
No,
they look like.
in
At least
general, though, in
Republicans,
general,
they are natural.
they've got like 3 teeth in their mouth. What are you talking about?
Hell no, my girl's she got a
MAGA
full set.
women, and they scream,
Yeah.
and they have the screechy cigarette voice every time.
Not true. Not
I
true.
can always tell you she's gonna be MAGA.
I grew up in
I
the
can
woods,
always tell you.
and my mother smoked cigarettes, and I am very familiar with people with cigarettes. My ma Dukes watches this. I love you, Mom. Sorry. But like, I'm being honest, I see someone that is of the left side of the aisle variety, I'm gonna be like, they're all fat. They're all nasty looking. They all got fucked up hair. And like my first thought is like, how can you be middle class? Your parents have good insurance. You have access to a good dental plan. You're from the suburbs and you're acting brand new about it. And you're telling me you couldn't get braces? Your parents didn't pay for orthodontia? We had orthodontia in the woods. I grew up in the woods. I don't get it. I feel like every time I see a liberal person, and I know there's a distinct difference between like left and liberal. I will say leftist women, I think, are more attractive. I just feel like they're more normal. Every time I see a liberal woman, a woman that says she's a liberal, she's fat, she's nasty, she has bad hair, she has bad skin, she has bad teeth. And I'm thinking, I'm like, it's hard to absorb what you're saying when you're screaming and you're just like fat and degenerate. I'm sorry. I'd rather have a skinny cigarette mom who looks like she's kind of off the dope than like a fat, nasty person with a butch haircut. I'm going to be honest. I'm way more entertained by the cigarette mom Dukes being like, I'm off the stuff now, kids, than somebody fat trying to tell me, maybe that's just me. Maybe it's just me, but cigarette moms are way more funny. I grew up around a bunch of them. They're just funny.
Oh,
Mia,
Lord.
do you
Okay,
consider me
guys.
Liberal or left?
Huh?
You consider me liberal or left?
I don't consider you, I consider you neither. I feel like, in my opinion, you're a centrist and you go with how you feel and then you always come back with the reasoning why. So I don't consider you a liberal. I don't consider you a Democrat or a leftist. Honestly, I feel like in ways you're a centrist. You're here until you feel the necessary to pick a side. But for the most part, you're moderate in most things.
Sorry, I just wanted you to say that I'm not ugly.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're not ugly. You're my favorite. You're my favorite kid. Nora and Enzo as my witness. I have said that many times. I'm like, I fucking love Kim. She's my favorite.
I agree with that because like Skeptic is pretty
the fifth.
liberal to me. And Skeptic is beautiful. So, and I know like there's a few girls that like, I can't think of their name. Skeptic, you probably know the left wing people. I don't know. I just think that's a
The way
do
Mia
like TikTok. I
described
did
the woman gave me the picture of like Katie Porter, which is like accurate.
I do TikTok
the big
debates,
girl?
right? And we go and we like screenshot their like profile pictures sometimes and just like we'll copy them just to see in the every time missing teeth, bottom teeth, top teeth messed up, like crook on top stacked teeth. There's something about the teeth. And always the voices real like raspy, like, and they're always like, I'm sorry, but it's like tanning, the fake tanning. Like I can't with the hands are always pale in the pictures, but the face don't match the hands because the hands is pale, but the face and the body is like an orange color. I can tell you, and the mascara, it's always like very like exaggerated, like looking, different. I can tell a MAGA woman when I see her. I'm like,
hold on. I ain't gonna let y'all keep sitting on the American people like that. Y'all just said American people ugly as fuck. You just said Mia said the left, liberals, skeptics like the right. Everybody ugly, I guess. God damn.
I mean, maybe they are.
We're gonna play this last clip and we'll let this be our final clip and give our closing. I'm gonna let Kim go first, but this is the answer: is MAGA dead? This is the leader of who's been saying MAGA's dead. I know y'all don't like him, but a lot of people are saying he's the future, unfortunately, of the right. Let me play it.
It's just as bad as the Democrats. The
I watched
only
this
difference
yesterday.
is Trump has given people a false sense of victory. Trump has lulled people into complacency. Everybody thought the people triumphed when Trump won. He's different. He's talking like the rest of us. That's what is particularly sinister about the Trump movement, is the way that it functioned as a Trojan horse. Biden was worse. Kamala would have been worse. But at least with Kamala, nobody would be under any illusions. Would Kamala be better? No, she would have been far worse. The economy would be worse. Immigration would be worse. It all would be worse. But here's what matters, and here's the difference. Nobody would be under any illusions about what it is. That it's illegitimate. The elections are fake. The government's corrupt. She's not really in charge. The system hates us. There'd be no love lost there. And everybody would be acutely aware of the problem. You'd have righteous indignation. You'd have anger. There'd be a revolutionary fervor. But instead, with Trump, you get the pressure release valve. And no matter what he says or what he does, 50% of his audience, he has this diehard base of supporters. They'll support it no matter what. If he bombs Iran, they'll support it. If he brings in 500,000 Chinese students, they'll say he doesn't really mean it. If he fails to deport people, they'll say, well, who cares? The border's secure, so what? That's the problem. And so this is when you start to begin to think politically and start to think about what our real end game is. My end game is not to elect Republicans and be marginally better than the Democrats. No, my end game is I do want an energetic president. I want an energetic, forward-thinking, progressive, disruptive, populist executive branch that is going to fucking break the back of the power in the country and put Americans first. No more kickbacks, no more deals, no more corruption, no more special interests, no more super PACs. We literally need a real leader that is actually popular and in control with agency, someone smart, to get in, fire everybody, bring in his own people, and literally make the trains run on time. Literally build the new cities, raise the skyscrapers from the ground, build the factories, put us on a war footing, make the fucking country great again. That's all I'm interested in. If it's not that, I don't want it.
Kim, is MAGA dead? Thank you for coming. Everybody go check out Kim's content. Her info's in the closing.
Oh, okay. I just want to say I sat through that despicable footage out of respect for you, Nora. I hate his voice. I hate when I agree with him. He's so annoying. But no, I don't think MAGA is dead. I think MAGA is whatever Trump says it is. And Nick Fuentes is correct. Trump says jump. All his MAGA supporters say how high. And it's every time. They're unprincipled and inconsistent. Wait, am I closing like in sum now?
Oh, yeah. Your closing thoughts as well.
Okay. What was the question again that I'm answering with that clip? Is MAGA dead?
Is MAGA dead?
MAGA is not dead. MAGA will shapeshift. MAGA will be whatever Donald Trump wants it to be. Yeah. Oh, and then I also, really quickly, I think it's rich that AOC talks about MGT being a careerist, or that she has some type of, or which I think is both can be true. MGT and AOC are both, they both have political aspirations, but AOC carries water for the Democratic Party. She said on a stage in front of a lot of people that Kamala Harris was working tirelessly for a ceasefire. That was complete bullshit. And then she ran for a committee chair, and they didn't give her that committee chair because she didn't work hard enough. MGT does the same thing. They both do it. Both sides do it. MGT, AOC, the party decides how far up you really go. So people will become politically attuned. They'll think, oh, we want this, we want that. It's an up-down, it's a populist rhetoric, right? But MGT will say things like anti-war, but then she doesn't support a cut in the military budget. So it's all for rhetoric and it's all for votes, and politicians are full of shit. I am ideologically in the left. I think me as a closeted lefty, it's a class struggle. Yay. That's it.
W, Karen. Okay. I'm going to let somebody on the right go. And so what's your closing thoughts? And is MAGA dead?
So my closing thoughts are: this is a great episode. MAGA's not dead. MAGA's not dead at all. I don't agree that if Trump said for us to jump, we would say how high. No, we're all. There's a lot of us that are free thinkers, and the people that are MAGA that I would say I associate myself with. I mean, we've been echoing the same exact talking points. Shout out Million. Shout out Unreal. We've been echoing the same exact talking points and disagreeing with Trump, and we are people that would be considered MAGA by people on the Democratic side. What's going on right now is more infighting from the Democratic Party. That's why we have all this deflection with these Epstein files. Nobody really wants to talk about all the infighting because of the government shutdown, how Democrats have been eating their own the last week, calling people out, saying that they're going to primary people. John Fetterman, not ironically, but I mean, what's the word for it? Ends up in the hospital today by tripping and falling near his house. I mean, I've seen this before. Yeah, conveniently. That's what it was. Conveniently trips and falls outside his house when everybody on the left has been calling him out, calling him a traitor. That's what that's the one thing that is baffles me about politics is this. You don't see the Republicans eating their own with MTG, even though she's flipping sides and using more liberal talking points to either gain a base, to run for a seat, or she really thinks this way. Who really knows? We're not eating our own and saying we need to primary this person, that they're a traitor, that they're a disgrace to the party, unlike Democrats, where they said it was the Republican shutdown, but now they're mad at the Democrats for opening the government, for not continuing the shutdown. I mean, this is really all the Jeffrey Epstein bullshit now is. And there's more questions for the Democrats than Donald Trump in this. Why was a White House staffer communicating with Jeffrey Epstein in those emails? Why was the New York Times creating a smear campaign against Donald Trump in his first run for election? And why would you redact the name of a woman which contradicts her entire testimony that she gave in Maxwell versus USA in 2022? So I really have more questions than answers that we've been giving from the Democratic Party, saying, "Oh, this is the end of MAGA because of the Epstein files and everything like that." No, I got more questions for the Democrats because the Epstein files are going to be the demise of the Democratic Party at this point. And now, release the files. Release the files so I can watch the entire world burn and watch the Democratic Party cease to exist after this is all over, because there's more Democrats attached to this than anybody really wants to talk about. That being said, I hope everybody has a great night and a great weekend.
Oh, man. All right. Well, we're going to let somebody on the left get in. Gray, is MAGA dead? What's your thoughts?
I think tonight we proved saying like what someone looks like based on their political ideology, that this type of thinking is here to stay. So I don't see MAGA people say, "Oh, I was wrong," or "I'm no longer a part of this." I think people are gonna be affiliated with this political cult for a long time. I mean, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't think it's dead. I think people are MAGA diehards, and you're going to have a certain percentage of the right wing that's MAGA. So great episode. Shout out to the chat. Thank you to the cast. Like we always say on New Party, always vote.
And up. Skeptic, are you going to be the one? Yes? I don't know. Let's see. Skeptic, what's your closing thoughts?
The one yes for what is it?
Is MAGA dead, skeptic? Is MAGA dead?
Okay. I think it's slowly dying. I think you have seen a multiple breakoffs of MAGA because of the different things that they have gone back on that they said they stood for. And I think it's like it's slowly, unaliving itself. I do want to say about the Epstein files. I don't know if like people understand how we came to have the documents with the House Oversight Committee, which is a bipartisan oversight committee that has both Republicans and Democrats in them. But they decided to do their own investigation and they subpoenaed the Epstein estate. And so they were able to go in and have lawyers and investigators go into the Epstein estate and take evidence that they needed, take computers and run their own investigation. So the 3 emails that the Democrats released were the main ones that are on the Democratic Oversight Committee.gov. And then you can see that Republicans also released about 20,000 documents. So the one thing that Democrats are advocating for is to compel the Congress to basically ask for a discharge, like what is it called? A discharge petition. And so they didn't have enough votes. So it's interesting that Republicans say we want to release these files, but then they all voted against the releasing of the files. And if you look back as to who was the person that was bringing up the Epstein files, it was all Republicans, Dan Bongino, Pam Bondi, conservatives that were saying, hey, there's more to this story. But now that we're seeing that there's more to the story, they're starting to try and push back. Like, I think it's interesting. And I think that we should all say there should be a release of the files, and the Department of Justice should look into it and investigate it further, especially like when Pam Bondi said the list is sitting on my desk, and then she goes back and says, oh, there is no list, actually. So there's something fishy here. And I do think that there's a reason why, information isn't being released. I think Adelina, I want to say Agrella is going to be confirmed. And so hopefully she is the last vote to have that petition signed and passed on. I do think it was a really good episode. Thank you to everyone on the panel. It's always a good conversation. And we need to get the chat to, again, hit the like button more, subscribe, and share the live.
Skeptic, I got a question. Is it true Castle debated Tariq Nasheed?
He got on his panel. He got on Tariq Rashid's panel, and then he just was talking to him. He kept muting him and then dropped him from the panel on TikTok.
Where do you have the clip? I want to see it.
I can ask Casso and see if he has it, but he did. He told us that he got on there.
Yeah, can you ask, please? Because I heard he was up there, and I want to see it.
I'll ask him.
I'm just curious what. Yeah. Okay. Mia, what's your closing thoughts?
I don't think MAGA's dead. I think the MAGA movement is splitting into 2. I think you have MAGA who will always follow Trump. They are true Trump supporters. They are here for Trump. That is they eat, breathe, sleep Trump. That is them. And then I think you have the other MAGA supporters that are now America First. And that is where you get Nick Fuentes and some of the others that are coming in with the America First narrative being truly America First. So I think what attracted a lot of people to Donald Trump in the beginning is Make America Great Again or being America First. Because who doesn't want to be their own country first? Who doesn't want to help their own neighbors first or be their country first? So I think that's what we're seeing is the splitting of that into people that are truly America First, that want what's best for America. And then you have people that follow Trump. And I think as we progress in Trump's second term, we're going to see more people leaving the Trump and moving to be America First. And I really think in this power vacuum, Nick Fuentes is legitimately going to rise and he will be the new face and voice of America First. Because you gotta, every time he speaks, unfortunately, I find myself agreeing with him more, which is very sad to say because I think he's a terrible person and he's a racist. However, when he talks about why are we not doing this? Why are we not doing that? Why are we not doing things that directly affect Americans? He does have a point. And it seems that a lot of Trumpers forget that this is not the United States of Israel. This is the United States of America, and we need to be doing what's best for us. So yeah, I definitely consider myself America First. I do not consider myself MAGA, and I hope anybody that's watching leaves the Trumper part of that and comes over to the America First, because we need to be worrying about ourselves, because I can tell you people in Israel are not worried about us.
Facts. I'm going to give mine and then I'll let Kamal go because I want to acknowledge the super chat. We always knew there'd be a confrontation between Trump's blue collar base and the tech right. Mia is absolutely correct. I don't think MAGA is dead necessarily, but I think you see who's pro Trump and who's really pro America. Mia hit it right on the head. And although MAGA is still alive, it is weaker. Many independent voters are moving away, whether you guys acknowledge it or not. They don't like the economy. They don't like the way things are going. And younger conservatives are shifting towards a more pro-America first, i.e. they worship Nick Fuentes. Whether y'all like it or not, a lot of the young ones like him. So for me, MAGA is not dead. I think it's evolved. But come back. We always do this Monday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Monday and Wednesday night is our Man Cave show. Tuesday and Thursday is our New Party show. And the team that you saw, please go follow our creators. And Kamal, what's your closing thoughts? Is MAGA dead? Close us out.
Nah, MAGA ain't dead, but I got to play this again right here because it happened again on the panel. Skeptic and Enzo agreed on something once again. Oh my goodness, Mia and Nick Fuentes agreeing on some shit. Will Kim ever get that rich man after shitting on corporations? I guess most of America is ugly. Y'all be the judge next. But damn, this was a great show today. I do appreciate everybody on here. Y'all go follow everybody on the panel. They have their own TikToks. They have their own shows. Follow the New Party. I got the New Party pinned on top of my chat on my show over there. Hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification bell so you know when they go live. And then on my end, if you want to follow me, Kamal Johnson Network on YouTube. Once again, Kamal Johnson Network on YouTube. Hit that notification bell also so you know when I go live. Do I think MAGA is dead? Nah, I agree with me. Like the shit is split. You feel me? The spicy hunky Nick Fuentes. I hate to say it, but damn it, I'm agreeing with this damn hunky too. Jesus Christ, man. I'm sitting here, I'm like, damn. I agree with him once again. Like, I agree with one of that. He called Jason Whitlock a coon. I'm like, damn. I hate that I agree with him sometimes, but hey, anyway, MTG needs to link up with Jasmine Crockett. We need that ebony and ivory of politicians to go against Trump so we can make a new Netflix series. What else did we talk about? The H-1B1 visas, you feel me? Yeah, y'all heard us talk about that shit. And is the Epstein files a hoax? I don't know, but I will say this: Bill Clinton most definitely on that list. It's no way you get head in the White House and you not on an Epstein list for some sex shit. Like, you're not going to convince me otherwise. All right. Is Trump on that list? Hey, he might be too. I don't the hell know. You feel me? But yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat. Y'all was really good in the chat today. Damn. Y'all was very positive. Y'all weren't calling nobody a Nazi. Y'all didn't say nobody was dumb. I am proud of the chat. Damn. See, it's because of Skeptic and Enzo. They start agreeing and being civil on some shit. Now the chat is being civil. Oh my goodness. We stepping in the right goddamn direction. Whew. Anyway, y'all have a great weekend. You feel me? And everybody else on the panel and shit, y'all have a great weekend too. I appreciate y'all. And I appreciate everybody that sent in super chats and became a member of the New Party. Appreciate y'all. All right.